Hey everyone, today I have a story about Joe's early romance that will leave you in stitches. People are gossiping about the rumor, and poor old My feels like he's in a cringe comedy. Walking past the teacher's house, he's sweating. Upon arriving home, old My heard his teacher died of a heart attack, a mix of emotions, like a riddle-wrapped rainbow. He couldn't help but connect the dots between the teacher's death and that morning's rumor. What a tragicomedy. Pierce borrowed 300,000 rupees to bargain, but money is as tight as a pair of skinny jeans on cheat day. He started doing a 5-person job, but everyone else ghosted a classic. Offering you 40,000 in rent, Gutty thinks he can snag a job as long as the cash flows. Pierce is there thinking, wow, that's some next level. This old Mai was holding a 2,000 rupee electricity bill like it was a trophy, ready to challenge Pierce with it. When the power went out, Pierce emerged with flashlights like a superhero, while old Mai played Houdini. Pierce promised to report next month's bill, but this performance hit old Mai right in the feels. Old Mai was shocked by what his son was up to, straight up refusing like a bad date. As Pierce got ready to fix his bike, old Mai dropped some news headlines like he was handing down legendary secrets. The 4 of them filed a report at the police station, and Pierce freaked out like he saw a ghost. Subtitles. Pierce was overwhelmed with immense pressure. He recounted the scandal in great detail. Old Mai wasn't about to pick up the tab for his son's stupidity, getting more confused by the minute. Pierce tried to convince his dad, but old Mai was already furious like lightning looking for a tree. Their relationship hit rock bottom, and old Mai wished his son would finally own up to his screw-ups. Pierce hoped his dad could pull him out of this mess, channeling his inner superhero. The school expressed grief over the teacher's passing and handed Leju a job offer like it was the latest iPhone. Leju, who had a lower degree than Pierce, got the job as if to prove the age-old saying true. Pierce felt like he got punched in the gut, utterly unable to empathize. Yet he still wouldn't talk to the teacher, feeling as jittery as a cat on a hot tin roof. Leju's situation made Pierce feel cheated, his jealousy flickering like a tiny flame. When Pierce returned home, he wore a sullen expression, yet his mind was swelling with turmoil. Old Mai was busy analyzing while Pierce struggled to find words of his own. Pierce secretly plotted that if his dad passed, he could take over the job and talk about the plan gone awry. The force of his father's frailty ignited an impulse in him like a match to fireworks. They began to contemplate this feasible plan, with their persistent thoughts lingering like a candle ignited by a lighter. But it was always a bit hard to voice it out. Telling his dad to kick the bucket was absolutely unthinkable. They only communicated the plot while old Mai was at work, guilt nagging them like a relentless shadow. In the end, Pierce's desperate desire transformed into a fantasy of being a civil servant. Upon hearing his son's audacious and ambitious remarks, old Mai, consumed by a surge of anger, violently drove him away. However, shortly thereafter, an unforeseen incident occurred that completely transformed old Miss' attitude. Times L, Isa, you grov times Cyrillic letter 4 5 Kisadilla Cyrillic letter 4 7 Arkit, I grov 2 3/4 O pound mit sign A O grov a circumflex small cap 10 dar micro a half times la O I mad a circumflex sorry mat Cyrillic letter 4 BB O mad sheen Arkit da eo. Subtitle. He made the decision to call his son back in order to renegotiate the debt issue. However, when he brought up the idea of purchasing a house, Pierce was not having it at all. Everyone knew Pierce didn't get the job because his dad passed away. That was not how life worked. Old Mai couldn't help but feel curious and wonder. Is Pierce truly uttering these words? Alright, son, I'm on board with your ideas. Subtitles. Next, old Mai successfully mortgaged his house to make up for the 300,000 rupee shortfall. Pierce went off the rails, selecting horror films to teach his father life lessons. With the air conditioner turned on, Pierce prepared himself for a movie night with his father. Subtitles. Oldmeyer was desperately disheartened to discover that his plan had gone awry, while Pierce, acting like a clown, was preparing to put on a comedic performance for his father. Subtitles. They planned for Oldmeyer to fake suicide secretly, but failed miserably. After waiting forever, the pair finally spotted a slow-moving train coming along. But Community News dashed their hopes this train wouldn't pass for 3 days straight. Back home, an unexpected visit from Laji made things a bit awkward. Turns out he found a girlfriend during training talk about hitting the jackpot. The gift that Laji had deliberately prepared made Pierce feel a sour and bitter emotion in his heart. Pierce grew anxious since his dad hadn't passed, and thus he still remained jobless. Subtitles. Oldmeyer stayed quietly at home, only to lose his temper at Pierce after the debt collector had left. Subtitles. Pierce realized that he had to bear the consequences for the issues he was confronting, and the lessons from Oldmeyer lingered in his mind like a heavy boulder.